So good evening, everyone, and welcome to these first Thursday Thriving Sessions this year. I'm really excited about what all the possibilities are, and equally excited to have with us this evening Angie Ciroli, who'll be with us for each month as we're on this journey. We've already gotten a chance to experience that amazing hand cleanser. And so I think I'm going to stop talking because, I can keep going and going and going so that you can enlighten us and bring a wealth of knowledge. Let us welcome her.
I really enjoy being able to teach and help people be equipped and empowered so that you realize healthy can be simple, and that God's given us all we need. We just need to understand how it's been documented to use, how many ways that it can help us. And I did, as Pastor Bynum mentioned, share with you the hand cleaner and gave you a little sheet that shows you some of the therapeutic properties for each of the components of the hand cleaner, which are orange, clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and rosemary. And I make that in just witch hazel. Anybody here use witch hazel? Mm-hmm. In witch hazel, coconut oil, and then the essential oil blend. And the essential oil blend is a blend that we make as far as the company goes. But you could always blend them yourself if you had individual essential oils. So tonight we're going to talk about what are essential oils and how do we use them. How will it support our body, our mind, and our environment? So I always love this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, "The first wealth is health." How many people here believe that? Mm-hmm. Yes? Mm-hmm. Yes. Anybody here use essential oils already?
I use some.
Some? Okay, perfect. So, of course, for us to have good health, there's many things that have to go into that, right? We have to eat good food, we have to eat whole foods, not a lot of processed stuff. We have to have good hydration. Our bodies are, more than 70% water, so we really need to keep that replenished. We have to exercise. We do have to take supplements. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We have to get good sleep, and of course, take time for mindfulness, because we are in a stressful world, aren't we?
Yeah.
This is a crazy place we live in right now, and there's no way, no matter how much you do with respect to just keeping your even keel and keeping yourself grounded, that you're not going to be affected by it. But we have great tools. So I also love this one from Hippocrates. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And we actually have to take in, I saw last year some data showing that we have to take in almost 10 times as much now as our grandparents did of our fruits and vegetables to get the same nutrition that they used to get. And that's because of all the processing that we have done. That's because of international trade. We're able to get strawberries when they're out of season and blueberries when they're out of season from other countries or other parts of the states, and they're not allowed to actually ripen as they should, and to get the nutrients from the ground and from the sun and from the water. And the other thing that we've done is we've put so many toxins in our environment. America is one of the worst places for doing that, and we have so much toxins in our soil, our water, and of course in our air. So that's why we have to supplement. That's why we need something that's going to help give us those nutrients so that our bodies will thrive. Oops, on the wrong way. So, what are essential oils? So, may I ask your name?
Linda.
Linda. So, Linda, you say you use essential oils, right? So, some. Do you know how they're defined? What they are?
No, I just know that I like. No, not really.
Okay, that's fine.
I
that's
know
fine. You
this,
can read too.
Yeah.
If you want to.
But I know that they do come from the leaves, and
yeah, exactly.
I can remember when my grandmother
Yes.
would go out in the yard and pick different roots up,
Right.
and how she would make salves and
Right.
and
teas.
teas,
Right. Yes.
especially tea,
Absolutely.
and different things. And I wished I had learned that when she was
I know.
doing
I think
all
a lot
this
of
stuff.
us do, because I know many of our grandparents and great grandparents. That's the way they lived, and those recipes are not lost. We just don't pay attention to them anymore.
Right.
We live such a fast lifestyle that convenience is our drive, right? We want everything right now, and And when you're looking at the essential oils, that is one way to really get a good, powerful amount of that plant's nutrients. Because the essential oils actually will carry antioxidants. They'll carry all kinds of therapeutic properties, which we'll look at. But you're right, Linda. So they can exist wherever God put them. So we have several flowers, right, that we make tea with. Chamomile. We also have lavender, which maybe a lot of people don't use so much as far as a food, but that is ingestible. It's safe. And then we also have roots and tree resin, like your frankincense and your cedar wood and your sandalwood, seeds and leaves like our peppermint, basil, rosemary, all of our herbs. That's where that essential oil is in that leaf. So the essential oil are basically volatile aromatic compounds, and those compounds are all make up basically the immune system of the plant. So that full chemical makeup of that plant is pretty much in the essential oil. And they exist, as you see here, in small little oil sacs in the plant. So whether it's on the leaf or in the flower, in the roots. And the way we derive them is we can either steam distill or we can cold compress them. For most of our plants, it's steam distillation, but for our fruits, the essential oil is in the rind. Okay, so when we open that rind, and we're going to do that next time we have our class, we're going to have some oranges and we're going to experience that. This is kind of dry, so you won't really see it, but when you open that, you should see that spray, and that's your essential oil. And that's what, of course, has protected the fruit that we like eating, which makes sense, right? It's how it was designed. But we also know that the essential oil is 50 to 70 times more powerful than a typical serving of a plant that we'll get. Which is huge, because then you only have to use 1 to 3 drops per application to really affect a positive change. And that can, with our life of convenience, make things a lot easier for us with how we want to have control of our life and what we want to do daily. So there are lots of different types of essential oils out there. We have the synthetic. That's what a lot of our medical system is made up of, right? Synthetics. All of our pharmacological things, they're synthetic because we have to, that's why we have to do all those big studies, because we really don't know how it's going to react in our bodies. But we actually do know from centuries of use of all of our plants and the documentation that we have for all of our plants, we do know how those will affect us. So we have data actually in our medical literature from decades where it shows those therapeutic properties for simple things like lavender and peppermint and lemon and orange. That's all in our medical literature. But we do have food grade, of course. So when you get a food extract, that is, of course, safe for you to ingest. That usually is extracted using alcohol. So you're usually going to see alcohol on the label. Therapeutic grade, and then certified pure therapeutic grade. Certified pure therapeutic grade is the grade that we have with the oils that I'm sharing with you today. And why is that important? We actually have done clinical studies now that have been published earlier this year in clinical journals, human studies where we've taken blood samples, and we actually have data showing that using this full immune system of the plant versus the synthetic component that would normally be the active ingredient used to make a pharmacological agent, the essential oil is absorbed into the bloodstream twice as much as the synthetic. So it really has made a huge, huge difference, which is like monumental for us that we have this data now that is available through PubMed.gov, which is the resource that doctors use. So that to me is huge for us because we set ourselves apart, number one, with the company that I work with, but number two, hopefully it will help calm the skeptics in understanding that God's given us all we need. We just need to understand how to use it. We have all the data out there from centuries of use. I mean, we all know when fall comes around and we get an orange, how much better it makes us feel when we open that orange and we eat, right? I mean, it just makes so much sense. But now we're going to be able to label our products pharmaceutical grade. So we're going to be right there with anything that's considered medicine. Now we can't call our products medicine, but and we can't say we can heal or treat with essential oils. But what we can say is that if we give our body the nutrients it needs, the body can heal like it's supposed to, because that's the way it's designed. So, so this is huge. So it does make a difference when you look at the quality of the oil that you get. So I would tell you to really think twice if you're looking to bring something more healthy into your environment, into your body, and you're being intentional. Let's just say you're being intentional to have more herbs and spices in your meals. Then same thing with essential oils. Don't go and get them from one of the box stores out there, or the convenience stores, or the pharmacies, because they're not going to be pure. And many of the essential oils that are out there are synthetic, and they are mixed with a lot of other things that you don't know because they don't have to put it on the label. And I explain that a little bit later too. But these are some of the things that we have found with respect to the therapeutic properties that we have documented in our foods. So, anybody here see things that we would want to have in our hand cleaner?
Antiseptic?
Yeah, antiseptic, right? Antibacterial, antiviral, absolutely, antifungal, so many antiparasitic, so many great antioxidants, therapeutic properties, including antioxidants, as I mentioned before. But then they can affect us with properties, as we see on this side, where it can either give us energy, like when you open that orange, and it gives you that little pop of energy, or it could help us calm down, or it could help us with pain, or it could help us with digestive issues, or have mental clarity. There's so many things that we can use, and it all is a matter of what works for us, because we are uniquely made, right? And we have to take into consideration our status of health, what we put in our bodies, our exercise level, how much sleep we've gotten, all those things I said in the beginning. Those all factor in to which types of things might help us in combination to achieve the goal that you're looking for. So the chemicals that are found in the plant material that really support all of our body systems, you can ingest, you can use essential oils topically, you can use them aromatically, you can make teas with them, as we had talked about before. You can use them in your foods, obviously. If it's an herb or spice, we cook with them, and you should be able to do that with an essential oil too. You can provide that foundation for your cellular energy and your mental clarity, and also to help all of your body systems, especially your cardiovascular system and your inflammation. One thing that we have learned over the last probably decade or so is that inflammation is the underlying cause for most diseases. And so many things can cause inflammation, from something as simple as stress. So we have to really, try every day to let go, let God, right? We've got to try to keep our stress levels down so that we have, we can keep that inflammation in check. And of course, all the other factors that we need to do as far as keeping ourselves healthy. So we do have aromatherapy used in many of our medical systems across the nation. And in the Research Triangle Park, the major facilities actually use them and have been approved for a few years. And why is aromatherapy so profound? Why does it help us so much? Anybody have a particular smell that reminds them of their grandma? Mm-hmm. Anybody how about a certain season of your life that you grew up? For me, one of the things that I love when I go, let's say through the airports where they used to have cinnamon, is the cinnamon, because it reminds me of my mom. She used to love to make those snickerdoodles, and that those smells really can provoke a response, sometimes negative, sometimes positive, but they really can make a difference. And that's the reason is because those olfactory nerves are connected straight to the part of the brain where in 4 seconds, the brain, if it is a natural aromatherapy, a natural derived aroma, the brain will be able to recognize and say, this is what this is. I know what it is. I'm going to take it to use it here. And you may have taken it intentionally for some purpose, but your body may be saying, okay, I need to fix this, to get this in balance. And that's the beauty of aromatherapy, or even any of our foods, but essential oils especially, because they work on the cellular level. So they can actually help us get into balance. And some things we may look at and go, well, that helps me lower blood pressure, but it also helps me raise blood pressure. So really the intention is to bring it into balance. So it just depends on what your needs are. But you can see here, when you breathe something in, it can immediately affect your heart rate, your breathing, your memory. Again, it reminds you of something that you were fond of or not so fond of. Your stress levels, of course, and other emotions. So I want to do an experience with you, and that is going to be with orange and peppermint. What I'm going to do is put orange and peppermint on your hand. You're going to rub your hands together, and then breathe it in. Just hold it out front here like this, about a few inches away from your mouth and nose. And then if you want to feel the cooling power of peppermint, which I love the cooling power because that's how I was introduced to essential oils, was using peppermint for hot flashes. So I usually put it on the back of my neck, and then in about 30 seconds you should feel that cooling. So if you want to experience this, please just raise your hand, and I will come around with the essential oils. Peppermint and orange are awesome for, actually, you know what, I think what's the next one? I got ahead of myself, so I have to go back up. So, all we need is like one drop of each. And you just, like I said, rub your hands together and hold it out in front of your face to have that experience. I always put them on one hand because then you don't have to worry about it dripping off when you're trying to put them together. Just put one on the other side. Sometimes the orange will come out faster because it is a thinner oil. Sir? Pastor? What do you guys think? You feel that coolness as you breathe it in? Yeah. You feel it opening up the airways? Yeah? Yeah. Open up the airways. We need that. We're going through ragweed season, right? And of course the weather changing. But these two are so good. And if you want to feel that coolness, go ahead and put it on the back of your neck, or if you want to feel it like on your arms, that's fine too. But this is great. Like in 30 seconds, you should be feeling that. Now, why do we feel that? Because peppermint contains menthol. So peppermint is where they used to derive menthol from when they make a lot of our sports creams, when they make Vicks Vapor Rub. But now all of that's synthetic. They don't really use peppermint for that sort of thing. Well, they should, because it is the more pure form, right, of it, and our bodies will recognize it. Are you okay, ma'am? Because I did bring in some peppermint water for you to taste and some lemon water. So if you'd like to try that, we'll get to that in just a few minutes. So I was talking about using aromatherapy in our hospitals, and we did have a study that was done about 11 years ago at Vanderbilt Hospital, where Nurse McBride set up an experiment with aromatherapy in the ER because she really wanted to see, could she help bring stress levels down in the ER. And so she did her research and found that the strongest plants that had antidepressant properties were our citrus. So she introduced all the citrus to the ER staff, and they had the liberty to be able to use it in a diffuser, whichever ones they want, in every shift that they had. And they did that for 30 days. And what they found was that, this was a survey that they took before and a survey after, and what they found was that the one question that was, that'd be perfect. Yeah, thank you. The one question that they had several, but that was the most profound to me was, how often did you experience work-related stress before, the one that said, the one answer that was like very often, before, it was like 42% or something, and I thought, that's kind of low for the ER, but you gotta realize that many people that work in the ER, they're used to the trauma. It's all the people that are coming in there that are not used to it, where the stress levels are high. But still, 42% before. After the 30 days, it was down to 3%. Very often experiencing stress. So it made a huge, huge difference. And that was kind of one of the first studies that really started getting medical facilities to pay attention and realize that we have something that could be natural that we could use to help people that were trying to heal or trying to help heal. And so we have mostly the essential oils used aromatically on tissues or cotton balls in the ER for nausea. So peppermint is really good for nausea. Peppermint and ginger are kind of your top digestive options. And so those two can be really help with any sort of digestive issues or motion sickness or nausea. And then they're also used in the after surgery to help people with coming out of anesthesia, because that a lot of people get agitated, and so that will help with common anxiety and stress, especially the citrus. How are we feeling? Are we feeling coolness? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
I can feel it on my neck.
I know. My hands always get really cold. I feel it on mine too. And you're okay now? Good. Okay. So let's go here. So we do have three ways that we normally can use essential oils. We talked about aromatically. We've experienced that. We've experienced it topically now, right? And of course, aromatically, you open your airways. It helps clean the air. So when you are able to diffuse it, it's not only helping you, it's helping your environment, which helps you when you have a cleaner environment. And it helps mood, including depression. When you put it on topically, you can put it in any number of places on your skin. I love, like I said, using it on the back of my neck at the brainstem, which is right there at your hairline. And I just got in the habit of doing that because that's where I have my hot flashes come out. So it's just easy for me. But a lot of people, and we'll see this in a few minutes, will use the reflex points on the bottom of the feet to apply the essential oils. So did anybody in here, or have you told someone in your family to use Vicks Vapor Rub on the bottom of your feet, put your socks on, and go to bed, and it'll help you breathe better? Mm-hmm. This is why. It's not an old wives' tale. It's not voodoo. It's how God designed us. Okay. So you got your lung nerve endings right there, and you use peppermint right there, and it's going to open up those airways. We do have a respiratory blend that's called Breathe, and that is very, very powerful right there as well. And then internally, you could put them in water, you could put them in juice, you could cook with them, as I mentioned before. You can put it on the tongue or in a gel cap. So it just depends on what you're willing to do. To me, what I tell people is, what's going to be easiest for you to make routine? Because some people would rather just go ahead and take something internally and not have to do the topical or whatever. And other people enjoy the aroma and they want to have the aroma. So it just depends on what works for you, that you make it routine. So these are some ways that peppermint can help us. And I always love my little infographics because it can give you so many ways that you don't even think about that particular essential oil can help you. And the top ways for peppermint, of course, digestion, as we talked about, opening up the airways. And then the third one is pain. Peppermint and all the mints, the firs, our Christmas trees, and some of the herbs, well documented in our medical literature to help with pain, inflammation and pain. So as you see here, it can cool the body temperature, so fever, as well as hot flashes. It can invigorate the lungs, increase alertness. So of course, did you guys feel like a pop of energy with the orange and peppermint when you breathed it in? This is why we do orange and peppermint also when we have, as an experience, when we have evening classes, because people have already had their full day of everything, right? And so it's a way that you can kind of get that second win. So it says it takes 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs, than your typical serving of an herb, but just 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is equivalent to at least 30 cups of green tea. Of peppermint tea. I have green tea in my mind because I drink green tea. Yes, ma'am?
I have a peppermint plant on my deck,
Uh-huh.
and I go out there sometimes to pull a leaf off the chili.
Yes, that's awesome.
It's really good.
Yes, it is. Uh-huh. I have a lot of people that, love their peppermint, and I always tell people, if you want to probably make sure you put it in a pot, because you put it out in the yard, it's going to take everything over everything, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's awesome to use it that way. I have a rosemary plant on my porch, and I love just to go out there and rub the leaves like that, and then just smell it. It's awesome. Rosemary is very, very good for memory. It's also very good and well documented for pain.
I need to use some rosemary.
Rosemary's good. And so here are some of the therapeutic properties for orange. And orange, one of the key things that we see with orange and lemon, anti-cancer. So anti-cancer, and we don't get all the essential oil all the time because you have to zest that, right? Remember, it's in the rind. So you got to zest that rind. And if you make smoothies, put the rind in there. You're going to drink your smoothie pretty quick. Usually when you have bitterness with rinds, like when we make lemonade and we leave the rind in there, we end up having bitterness the next day. It's because of how it sits over time. But if you're going to drink it right away, it's not going to be bitter. But you're going to get that essential oil and all those wonderful nutrients from that rind. And then the second most powerful thing for our citrus is, of course, the antidepressant properties. So really help lifting the mood, helping to bring cortisol levels down so that we can bring that serotonin up and we can calm down, helping with reducing anxiety, and then of course very, very good for antiseptic, antibacterial, antiviral. Each of the citrus have all of those properties usually, but some of them may only have may not have antifungal properties or may not have antiseptic properties, but it has many of the others. I know our green mandarin, it has actually anti-inflammatory properties. So it's one of the only citrus that has anti-inflammatory properties. Usually that's another, but it can help with digestion, again, energizing, anxiety, nervousness, mental fatigue, insomnia. So I have a great life experience I want to share with you. My daughter is now 24, but when we were learning about essential oils when she was a senior in high school, and so she was starting to do all the college prep and fill out the applications and try to figure out what she was going to do, how she was going to be able to live with other people that she didn't know and that sort of thing. So she was having some anxiety. Well, she was drawn to orange, and she would put orange on in the diffuser at night to help her relax. And orange does have sedative properties. And when she ran out of orange, because I only gave her a sample of it, when she ran out, she asked me for some more. And I just thought it was the oddest thing because this child was a junk food junkie. She doesn't eat oranges. She doesn't like orange candy. She doesn't drink orange juice. And yet that's what her body was wanting, and that's what she was drawn to. And it helped her relax. And so that was huge because when we started looking at the properties in our book on this, I was like, well, there's your testimony. You are drawn to it because number one, it helps you to relax and go to sleep, but also, at the same time, it can be invigorating. It can help us with, getting that second wind, just as we had. I was just going to show you in the book here. Some of those therapeutic properties are listed there, but you can see down here it says sedative. And of course, one of the key things up here being anxiety and stuff. Therapeutic properties here. When we know that we have that chemical makeup, then we know we're going to have those therapeutic properties, and we're going to be able to affect the changes that. And then the other story I have is with ears. My mentor, Rachel, she has special needs children, and her youngest son has Asperger's, and he was learning to swim a couple summers ago, and I think he's 14 now, and his ear, he got swimmer's ear, he started hurting, and she knew she wasn't going to be able to touch his ear because he was just already wigging out, because of how much his ear hurt. So she had to go to his foot and put tea tree and lavender right in that nerve ending area of his ear on both these feet, on both these toes rather. And within 30 seconds, he's like, "Oh, Mommy, thank you so much. My ear feels so much better." I was like, "You should have recorded that. That would have been such an awesome testimony." But she knew she was not going to be able to touch, his ear and be able to help him get some comfort. So she had to go to the reflex point.
Yes, I'd just like to know what I could use for that particular.
For right in here.
Yes.
Do you have trouble with your eyes or your ears?
Yes, my eyes and my ears.
Okay, maybe we need to actually address that, as far as what things will help support and strengthen your eyes and ears in that area. And then maybe that would help with the pain or whatever. You're having pain in that part of the foot, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would help with the pain in that part of the foot. Yeah. And there's certain things we can look at for sure. How's everybody doing? You still feeling cool?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Good. Are you ready to taste some peppermint or lemon water? Let me pass these around and then I can come around with the water. Pass it on, if you will. Okay, I'm going to bring peppermint first. Actually, peppermint's a lot stronger. Who would like to have both? You want to try both? Okay. Who would like to have lemon only? Doesn't matter. So this is 3 to 4 drops of lemon in about 20 ounces. This is a 21-ounce bottle. So I want you to see how refreshing this is. Now, I love drinking lemon water this way because this again is the essential oil, right? So it's not from the pulp. It does not have all the acid in it. A lot of people, we drink lemon a lot in the morning, right, to help set our stomachs, to help with digestion. But when we have too much lemon, with the lemon juice, are you okay? Then we can actually affect the enamel on our teeth. So, because of the acid in the lemon juice. So this doesn't have any acid in it. So it's
So this is the lemon?
This is the lemon. This is 3 to 4 drops in the 20 ounces. What do you think?
So we should drink the whole thing.
You're welcome to have more. You're welcome to have more.
Let's just like this squeeze the lemon in.
Isn't that refreshing? So the peppermint's much stronger. You found that, right? When you had it on your hands. I put 3 drops in a gallon of water to bring this to people, for people to taste. This is going to be really strong, so I don't know if you want to try it, because I know it's already, someone's made you cough. No? Okay. This is not that strong, but it's because I do 3 drops in a gallon, but it's stronger than lemon. So, I love the taste of peppermint water, and I love the refreshing, cooling feeling it brings. I actually even soak my towel in it, so when I'm out in the heat, I can put this around my neck, and it'll keep cooling me. And so I'm going to bring this as and let you feel this as I let you taste this. Isn't that cool? This has been out of my refrigerator, because I keep it in the refrigerator stuff in the mold, since 6:30 this morning. Oops. You want another cup?
Yeah.
Do we have more cups?
Yes.
Can you pass those back around, please?
I'll use this one.
You didn't care for
That
lemon.
was usual.
Yeah.
If you do cook already, baby.
Yeah.
Sister West, you must not like that lemon water.
She didn't.
I can taste the lemon after I have drank it.
Yes, and a lot of times too, you smell it before you drink it too, and that is also the way our olfactory nerves are connected in our mouth. It helps us when we smell something to taste it, because that's when we have things that we're cooking, and we keep smelling it, and it makes us salivate, right? So that is just how, again, God created us. This is that peppermint water.
It's still good and cold.
And it will warm your body. I mean, you will warm this with your body, but if you just keep it wet and you keep turning it, then it'll keep cooling you. when you're out in the heat. So it's a great way to, isn't that nice?
Yeah, very nice.
You like it, but
Yeah.
Huh, this has been out since 6:30.
6:30 this morning.
Yeah.
It's a power peppermint. So what'd you guys think about peppermint?
I like it.
3 drops in a gallon. Okay? So see how much stronger peppermint is than the orange? But orange, I mean the lemon, it's very, very powerful either way. So, if you want anybody wants any more, you're welcome to have some.
Need some of this.
Well, you better get some,
I can really taste it after I have swallowed
Yes.
it. I can feel it.
A lot of, you can feel it coming, going down the throat. You can smell it and feel it in your nostrils when you breathe it. And like I said, you smell it before you taste it. A lot of times it is after you swallow it. But I don't like it that strong, and that's the reason I make it like that. Now, again, it's the immune system of the plant, the essential oil, right? So its whole job is to get rid of toxins and impurities and synthetics. So we always, if we're going to use essential oils for us to take internally to consume, and we're going to store them for a long time being a couple of days or longer, we always want to put it in stainless steel or glass. We don't want to put it in a bottle of water because that's synthetic. So over time, it's going to start breaking that down, and what you're going to see is that plastic bottle start getting cloudy. And it's because you're starting to drink plastic because it's breaking it down. So always you're going to want to use essential oils in stainless steel or glass if you're going to store them for a long time. So are they safe for internal use? Yes. Again, you get the essential oil when you have the fresh plant, herbs or spices, or even when used extra fruit. But when it's derived using steam distillation or cold compression, it should be just what that chemical makeup is of that plant. Okay, you shouldn't have toxins and impurities unless the plant was grown with them, and it comes out of the plant. So, again, if it's an herb, spice, or fruit, or if it's something that we can make teas with, like the lavender or frankincense or chamomile, what we know is that if the bottle has a supplements facts on the bottle, that should indicate to you that it is safe for internal use. Most of the essential oil companies will have not for internal use or for external use only on their bottles. And that should be a red flag if it's from a plant we know and can ingest, an herb, spice, or a fruit, because, again, we get that essential oil when we eat the fresh plant. So, yes, it's not in the concentration that we get in essential oil, which is why we always say 1 to 3 drops, and to use it more frequently than to use a huge quantity at one time, because that is the safest way to use it. But what's so confusing is because it is in the supplements market, where we have our vitamins, or we have all of our teas, and tea is considered a supplement. That is very, very loosely regulated by the FDA. And in order to label a bottle pure of essential oil, the FDA only requires that it contain 10% of whatever it says it is. 10%. So the other 90% could be whatever, and we don't know, because they don't have to put it on there. They're meeting what's required. But the other big kicker on that is that the pure definition of pure on the website does not distinguish between pure natural and pure synthetic. So just because it says it's pure doesn't mean it's plant derived. So you could be getting a product that is completely synthetic with other stuff in it and you have no idea. And that's why some people will have really bad side effects to them, or they may have pets in their house that have side effects from it because of those particular synthetics that we don't even know that's in there. And so it's really important that you do your research to figure out, are you getting what you think you're getting? This company does a series of 54 tests to bring it to market, and then it also does, we have a third party that does 7 tests. And then as you saw, we just did clinical tests in the very beginning, where we actually are published now to get pharmaceutical grade on there. I do have a YouTube channel, and as you saw on the pages, and there is a video on there that says a lesson in purity, and it tells you a lot about this. So I was just going to show you the supplements fact. This is the turmeric. As you can see, it has what's in it. And it should, because we eat turmeric, right? We know turmeric is one of the best things out there for inflammation. And we have it on peppermint, we have it on orange, we have it on rosemary, we have it on clove. Can you smell that turmeric? Yeah. I don't even have it open. It's like, I smell it. And there's the supplements fact right there, that little section. You know, and that's required for all of our foods. We're supposed to have some sort of, information about what's in it, right? So I know, I don't know if many of you remember this or if you took note of it, but it was probably about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more, where we had these huge news stories where they were talking about our vitamins and how our vitamins, they had started doing research because people were not really feeling what they should be feeling taking vitamins. All the multivitamins, the big brand names out there, and they had labs go and test them, and they found that more than half of what they said was in that vitamin was not there. And what they found was most of it was rock salt. So that again is our FDA not really working for us like they should. They're working for corporate. So they should be doing the testing and ensuring that people are getting what they think they're getting, but they're not. So we have to do that. We have to do our homework, and we have plenty of resources now to be able to look things up, so we know, we can see where they've done studies and stuff. Anybody else want a little bit more to drink, lemon or peppermint? Good. Yeah. So, any questions as far as internal use or? So I do have a way for you to kind of see what your body needs to get in balance, and this is a biofeedback assessment tool. And basically what it does is it reads the galvanic skin responses, and that's electrical energy that our body puts off. And we were able to introduce different plants to set a baseline for our electromagnetic energy, and then introduce plants to see what might help us bring biomarkers that are out of balance into balance. Every living thing out there that God made has electromagnetic energy, and we have had all that compiled over time. So we know, where each plant's energy lands, and so we can introduce, especially these products, because they are 100% plant derived, and be able to see where we might bring something in our daily routine that will help us to get in balance for whatever an issue might be. So this is something that we can do, and I'm glad to come early, for the next month and the one after, if anybody wants to meet up to do that beforehand. But it takes about an hour. It takes about 20 minutes to actually do the assessment, and then it gives you a report, and then we go through what's suggested, and you experience it to see what you're more drawn to, and also to see what brings the most biomarkers into balance. So it'll give you a good place to start with what your body is going. And I think with Linda, what you're talking about, that's a good way to start too. So, any questions on anything? So that was the end of my presentation.
I got this. Do you carry the vitamins that you should take? But with that scan, that will tell you exactly what you would need, right?
Well, it gives good suggestions. I mean, there still may be some things that you might need. Like, for instance, I just had a gentleman do the scan with me, and he had cancer, and I want to say, I think it was bladder cancer, and he ended up having cirrhosis of the liver, and all that's cleared up now, but he still continues to have really bad digestive issues, bad bloating. And so we tried a couple of blends with him, and then we did the scan, and it came up that he needed some probiotics, and he needed, and I had mentioned that before, and also enzymes, food enzymes. And we do, like with our company, our #1 selling product is our vitamins, because they're 100% plant derived. And so what's so nice about them is they help in so many ways. My husband, he doubles up when these weather changes happen because he feels the pain in his joints, and it helps to relieve that. And for me, I get the sinus headache, and it helps me because I had allergies and asthma, and that helps to relieve that. So I'll double up with that sort of thing. And then other people help, with, I had a couple of my friends go, does it make sense that I just kind of feel better? I feel like I feel, mentally, and I'm like, yeah, mental clarity is huge because it does help with that too. And then of course digestion issues. But it was interesting the things that came up for this gentleman because he actually had this come up, which is basically lemon, lavender, and peppermint. And it's mostly used for allergies. Lemon, lavender, and peppermint helped me get off my antihistamines about 6 years ago. And since I was wee, I was taking antihistamines because allergies to trigger asthma for me. And so I made a concerted effort to get off of those. And this I take because, when I'm on the run, it's easy to do. But I like actually putting it in a 2-ounce cup of water, like you guys have, two drops each, and taking it orally because sublingually is the fastest way to get it in our bloodstream. It takes about 15 seconds, where when we do this topically, it's going to be anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. And of course, if you suffer from allergies, it's a compounding, thing that if you can't get control of it, you can't sleep, and then when you can't sleep, then you don't have energy the next day, you don't have mental clarity, so it's a cycle. And so this will knock it out in 15 minutes, you're back to normal. And even if you're allergic to cats or some sort of animal and you're in that environment with them, it will help you for at least a couple hours before you have to dose again, but it will get you back to normal. And I'm allergic to cats, so I've done several workshops in people's homes who have cats. and they see me as the people who are coming in for the class, just a mess. And then by the time we get to talking about allergies, I'm feeling like this. So it's awesome. But he didn't have any allergies. I was like, well, that's kind of strange. So we looked at, the different digestive issues that he said he has: constipation, bloating, gas, and under each of those there were either peppermint and lemon or lavender and peppermint, so they were all within that. And so I was like, well, that makes sense then. Then that's the reason this came up, because it's getting that in that form, into his gut to help with that digestive issue as well. So yeah, it will make suggestions, and to me, it really matters what your response is. When we experience it, if you are like, wow, that really, that just gave me a pop of energy or really made me feel good, then that's where I would say let's start. Because it's again your body giving you not immediate indication.
I don't know if it was the peppermint that made my chest feel better.
Oh, good. It probably was, yeah.
Maybe it may have been the chest there, peppermint. I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
it does feel better.
Uh-huh.
She'll get my throat.
Yeah,
Good. Good. Yeah, we have natural solutions that we can, again, help our bodies, help our mind, help our... My main website is The Green Health First. That just tells you who I am, what I do, and we didn't really go over that in the beginning, but I studied in chemistry and chemical engineering. I worked in environmental consulting for about 10 years, and I went into pharmaceutical sales for about 10 years. And I got so disillusioned with that because I really moved that way thinking I would have a more direct impact to help people. Boy, was I wrong. But what I learned a lot, because I learned a lot about the body and how things work in the body, and I learned a lot of what not to do. But I also learned, with the last division or whatever I was in was pain management. That I did not want to work in that. I did not want to work with pain meds at all. And I knew there was got to be another way, because I kept seeing people being put on more and more medicines and not getting well. And I see people now use this and get well. And why is that? Because the synthetics don't get to the source of the problem. We have to use natural to get to the source of the problem. So we need to just be careful about how much. I see people come off of medicines, of course, with doctors' help on that or involvement on that. But yes, sir, you had a question?
Yes, the test you have, you said that the next time you come, you're going to do some tests.
I can. If you want to schedule with me, I can show up early to do it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'd like to do that one.
Okay.
And do you carry all the the oils that you?
I have a lot of them. I don't keep a huge stock of them, so I may not have something that comes up that you can experience, but we can always order it for you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And if you want to have me come, I just ask you to put your information here, and then that way we can schedule a particular time to be here, and then I can confirm with you before I come up that you'll be there.
Right.
So, any other questions?
Is gabapentin synthetic?
Sorry.
Gabapentin.
Yes.
I figured it was.
Yeah, that was one of the products that I worked with when I was in pain manager.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to get off of that list.
Yes, ma'am. I hear you. I know we can work together and with your doctor and everything, we can probably help you do that. Yeah. I mean, I've seen people get off blood pressure medicine, and I've seen them, not have to go on diabetes medicine when we caught it early enough. And of course, a lot of people who have type 2, you can change your diet, you can change your lifestyle, and you don't have those issues anymore. So I mean, it does make a difference, when we again are intentional. So, okay. Well, thank you all. I appreciate your attention, and I appreciate your questions, and I look forward to coming back in October.